welcome to another little installment of Special Order. We have a lot of cool stuff that is currently pending and ready to go live on the website. We got a few items from Kermit Lynch, a couple French wines, some natty California stuff, and then some sake that comes out of New York, which is pretty cool. So let's dive right into it. There's plenty to look at. First up, like I said, I have some Kermit Lynch wines. First on my list is Meyer-Fonné Edelzwicker. This will be a 2023 vintage. We do carry something else from this producer, maybe a few things. I think like maybe a Cremant Alsace, a Gewürztraminer. If you don't know what Edelzwicker means, Edelzwicker is, I believe, translates directly to noble blend, but basically a white blend coming out of Alsace. But the Meyer-Fonné Edelzwicker, that is going to be going live on the site. This will be on the Ship 12 free list, and you are looking at just around $20. You can get an Edelzwicker shipped to your home for free. Oh, a little detail that I missed. This is a 1 liter bottle, so more bang for your buck, which I'm always a big fan of the bigger bottles. Not necessarily a 1.5 liter that I'm after, but if I can get a liter instead of a 750 and around that $20 price range, usually I'll lean that way. Next up, another wine from Kermit Lynch. This is Lumassina from Punta, Crena. So this is a grape that I'm not really familiar with. Lumassina is native to Colline Sauvagnesi, which is a region within Liguria in Italy. From what I gather, this is going to be a pretty light and floral wine. Potentially something that'll pair well with spicy food, maybe Asian food. And this will be going on the ship free list as well. This one will be just under $25. So that is Punta Crena Lumassina, the 2023 vintage, going live for special order right now. Now one more Kermit Lynch wine on the list, Vigneti Vecchio, Etna Rosso, Contrada, Crasà. Now compared to the other two wines we just got set up from Kermit Lynch, this one is pricier. This is right around $50, but good news is this is also going on the ship free list. So if you're a fan of Sicilian wines, a fan of that kind of next step up of Italian reds, Vigneti Vecchio, Etna Rosso, Contrada, Crasà might be something you want to put on your list to try. Now, like I said, all three of those wines that we just talked about from Kermit Lynch, they are going on the ship free list, and if you don't know what that is, it's pretty simple and it works in your favor. At empirewine.com/free, there's a list of hundreds of wines that qualify for free shipping. As long as you're putting case quantities, so 12 bottles at a time in your cart, you can mix and match, you can do all the same wine. That part doesn't really matter. As long as it's quantities of 12, that case will ship free. So if you're looking to try a whole bunch of new stuff, or if you just want a couple cases of your favorite wine in the world, if it's on that list, you can get it shipped to your house with no shipping charge, which is huge, especially as FedEx prices continue to climb. Now, a couple other French wines that we have set up here that we're going to take a look at. Clovis Côte de Rhône 2024 being one of them. This is going to be a good value brand, another one that I'm going to be putting on the ship free list for all of you. Côte de Rhône, pretty straightforward. Most people have had a Côte de Rhône, even if they didn't know it. Generally a blend of stuff like Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre. I think there are some other varietals they can throw in there. I don't have the whole list in my head right now, but what's important for you to know is for right around $13, you'll be able to get this Côte de Rhône. It is on the free shipping list, so you can throw that in with the other three wines. If you want a variety of wines this week that you've never tried before, we're getting stuff set up for you right now. Shipping free if you want. And this does seem to be a lighter, fresher style of Côte de Rhône. Some of them you can put some time on, but this is a 2024. Everything I'm reading in the description hints that it's going to be a light, fresh style of Côte de Rhône, which I really like. They tend to be really good food wines. You can put them on the table with pretty much anything. I've done lighter styles of Côte de Rhône with fish, steak, and anything in between, so this will be a good table wine for you. Another French wine we're going to get live on the site right now. This one comes from our friends at Winebow, Domaine Kuentz-Bas Crémant, Alsace. So a Cremant Alsace, this will be sparkling wine made in the traditional method from Alsace in France. It can be a blend of pretty much any grape that is grown in Alsace, so your Pinot Blancs, your Riesling, your Gewürztraminers, whatever they're growing, they're allowed to use in here. And price on it is pretty gosh darn good if you ask me. We are looking at right around $20. It is going on the ship free list, and this is a quality producer making good bubbles. And as an added bonus, if you're into points, this did get a 91 from Wine Enthusiast. I got a whole bunch of Skurnik stuff here. Another one of those names that people tend to gravitate toward. So I got a group of 3 wines here from California producer Lieu, or Lieu, depending on who you're talking to in the store, which is actually a French word that means named place, or basically like region. This producer, they do a lot of work with Sauvignon Blanc, Chenin Blanc, Cab Franc, so those like big three Loire varietals. They don't make a ton of wine. Generally, they focus on quality over quantity, which is never a bad thing in my opinion. So first on the list from them is Santa Barbara County Blanc de Mer. So breaking from their normal varietals because this wine has 50% Chardonnay and then 40% Sauvignon Blanc, 10% Chenin Blanc. It's fermented with native yeast, aged in neutral French oak and stainless steel, and then all blended together. And this one you're looking at coming in right under 20 bucks. And I don't see any scores on this yet, but I've seen really good scores on Lieu wines before, so totally could pop up in the near future. And the next wine on the list from Lieu is Santa Ynez Valley Cabernet Sauvignon, so another wine that is kind of breaking from their norms of Cab Franc as far as reds go. So it looks like this is going to be 100% Cabernet Sauvignon, sourced from Santa Ynez Vineyard in Happy Canyon, AVA. Looks like it does see a little bit of new French oak, only 10%, so not a lot, and only for 9 months, so nothing overbearing. It's not that typical California heavy oak, really big style of wine. This is going to be, so again, price on this pretty good. You're looking at under 30 bucks for a small producer that's organic practicing and really does make some high quality wines. You're getting a good deal on any wine you buy from this producer, in my opinion. So third and final wine that I have going live from Lieu this morning is Lieu Sans Soufre Cabernet Franc 2023 vintage. Little note on Sans Soufre. Well, first of all, what that means is without sulfur, or they're not adding sulfur to this wine, which may sound inconsequential to some people as far as flavor profile goes, but we actually did a pretty cool little experiment with our Winebow rep a couple years back when we had the new vintage of Marcel Lapierre Morgon come in. We had a bottle of his Morgon that had sulfur added, and then we had a bottle of his Sans Soufre Morgon. And we opened them side by side, and I definitely noticed a difference. So did a couple other people that were there. If you think about it logically, you would have to imagine that in the bottle that has the sulfur added, you're getting a little bit more precision of fruit, you're getting a little bit more of a clean aromatic profile, and that was the case. Back when I first tasted a bottle of Lapierre Morgon, I didn't know that they did the two different bottlings like that. I was just told, oh look, we got another case, you should try it. And I opened it when I got home, and I fell in love with this kind of funky nose that it had. It had this raspberry pomegranate, almost rhubarby kind of nose, but there was this mustiness or funk in the background, which might not sound appetizing to everybody, but to me, it really just kind of elevated it to the next level. I had had plenty of other Beaujolais before. I've always been a big Beaujolais fan, but that kind of opened my mind, and I was like, oh crap, there's some serious wines that are coming out of Beaujolais. They're not all these little $12 Beaujolais Village wines that I had been drinking. I kind of feel like you get a little bit more terroir, a little more character in that no sulfur added bottling for Lapierre. So this would be an interesting one to have side by side with the Lieu Cab Franc that does have the sulfur added. I'm pretty sure that we have that in stock right now. So that would be a fun experiment for you to do at home. Get a bottle of each, open them side by side, and see how they compare to one another. For price, you're looking at right around 30 bucks for this bottle, and it is going on our ship free list. And if you're into scores, this got a couple 91s, a 91 from Venice Media and a 91 from Wine Advocate. This next one's pretty cool. This is a 2013 Pessac-Léognan, which is a region in Bordeaux that focuses on white wines. I can't be too sure if this is a library release or if they just hold their wines back for a while, but I can tell you that Robert Parker gave it a 94 and said that it should drink well for the next 20 years. So even if this is a library release, you're probably right in its peak drinking window right now, which is always awesome when you're spending some money on a bottle of wine. Speaking of money, this one is not that cheap. You're looking at right around 55 bucks, just under 60 bucks for this bottle. But older whites that are drinking well are some of the coolest wines that you can find. I know there's a ton of whites that do age really well, especially your Rieslings, some of the higher end Burgundies. I haven't had a ton of non-dessert wines from Bordeaux that age well, as far as whites go at least. So this is a very interesting bottle that I'm hoping to pick up myself. And that will be made easier by the fact that this wine is also going on the ship free list. And supplier says there's not a ton of this in stock right now, so I would jump on this pretty quickly if you're interested. Now I want to dive into some spirits that we're going to have go live on the site. First couple that we'll talk about, this is a distillery called Isolation Proof. So first gin that we have going live today from them is Isolation Proof Ramp Gin. Ramps are essentially like a wild onion. The list of botanicals that go into this gin is pretty cool. Watercress, tarragon, grapefruit peel, green onions, leeks, juniper, coriander, cassia bark, angelica root, licorice root, orange peel, and cubeb, whatever that is. So that's a pretty unique flavor profile for gin if I've ever read one. I've known some people to throw a pearl onion in a martini, and I think this stuff would really elevate that style of martini. And this Isolation Proof Ramp Gin will be coming in just under $40, like 38 or so. And definitely something cool to try out. If you're a gin fan and you're looking for a new gin to give a shot, Isolation Proof Ramp Gin should definitely be on your radar. And the other gin that we're going to look at from them is their Strawberry Rhubarb Gin. My grandma used to make strawberry rhubarb pie all the time, and I always loved it. So this is a pretty cool flavor profile to see coming in on a gin. And again, you're looking at right around $38 for a bottle of this. It is a 750 milliliter bottle, so is the other one. But I would definitely say if you like that kind of sweeter, fruitier style of gin, this is one you should definitely take a look at. If you miss those like Whitney Neal or whatever those were called that they don't import anymore into the US, this might replace that on your list of fruitier gins. And it is pink, so if you like a pink gin and tonic, which there is nothing wrong with that, I know I do, this will do it for you. And one more gin, different producer. This one I'm pretty excited about. If you're a Mezcal fan and you've shopped in the store, you've probably heard me tell you about Gracias, Dios Mezcal. It's my favorite Mezcal. It's a good value. It's like $35 or something like that. And it strikes a great balance between that fruity agave and the smokiness. They do a really good job on their Mezcal. Definitely check that out. But what we have going live right now from them is an agave gin, something that I have never tasted from them before. I didn't even know it existed until this morning when I told the supplier to set it up for us. I'm sure there's others out there, but I can't really think of any Mexican gins off the top of my head that we carry. So this is definitely one of the more interesting gins that we'll have available. If you're into scores, Wine Enthusiast did give this gin a 91. And if you're curious about the list of botanicals that go in this gin, juniper, of course, orange peel, lemon peel, cacao and toasted coffee seeds, eucalyptus leaves, rosemary, and prickly pear peels. So definitely seems like it'll represent Oaxaca well as far as the flavor profile goes. And this is a producer that I know and trust. Their Mezcal is awesome, one of my favorites, and this gin could wind up on my list of favorite gins. Now moving into something that I think is even more unique. I know that sake is not limited to just Japan. It can be made pretty much anywhere in the world where you grow rice. But I don't see a lot of them on our shelves or for special order that aren't from Japan. So these are kind of exciting. These are 3 sakes from Brooklyn. From Brooklyn Kura. First one on the list is Occidental Dry Hop Jumnai Jingo Sake. Just reading the description on it really quick, these guys seem pretty nerdy, which I love. Stuff seems like it's going to be pretty unique. I have not had a chance to try it, at least not that I know of. Maybe sometime in the past at some point, but looks like the process that they're going through. They are making their sake as you would normally make a Jumnai Jingo, and then they go ahead and they infuse it with some hops, and you get some bright aromatic tropical fruit notes added to your sake that way. So if you're a sake nerd like some of us are, this will definitely be something to put on your radar. Next sake from them is going to be Lake Effect Nagore Sake. There's a few different ways that you can look at Nagore Sake. The most important thing to know is it is kind of cloudy. It's often achieved by blending traditional Jumnai sake with a rice mixture, and that'll give you some like coconut, pineapple notes. It gives you a little bit of subtle sweetness and gives you some texture and mouthfeel that you don't always get from a non-Nagore sake. I tend to really like Nagore sakes because they're fun, they're fresh, they're bright. I've never had one that was like sticky sweet. I've never really had any sake that was sticky sweet, although I'm sure they're out there. But if you are looking for something new to try, or if you're new to sake, this might be a good one to transition into, just because it is a little more fun and fresh, and it's not necessarily something you have to know a lot about to drink. Last one that I have going live from Brooklyn Kura today is their Ashokan Jumnai Jingo Sake. Now, all 3 of these sakes, they are all under $25, ranging from about 20 to 24 or so. And you can click the link down below and you'll see all 3 of them, and you'll probably see a couple of others that we have from this producer. But pretty cool stuff. Sake from Brooklyn, who would have thought? Alright, now I do have a couple other new vintages that are coming in. I feel like I've probably talked your ear off about new items enough. So I think I'm going to wrap it up on that note. Some new sake, some new Lidi stuff, Côte de Rhône for you. A lot of stuff went on the ship free list today. Links for everything will be down below, so definitely check everything out. You can also just take a look at the ship free list, empirewine.com/free, and see if anything tickles your fancy. Get it shipped right to your door for free. Go ahead and do a little bit of liking, subscribing, commenting, and all that good stuff. And I will see you next week for another installment of Special Order. Adios.